But I promised my son when he was a baby, even before he opened his eyes in my basement apartment, I looked at him and I said, son, no matter what happens in life, I'm never going to turn my back on you. Daddy's always going to be there. I got your back. I got your back. You see, and I'm always going to pick you up. And I took a picture, which has been a signature for me, my favorite picture, with my son on my shoulders to show that I'm always going to hold you up. And that's what I had to always reflect on every time I wanted to walk away. Every time I wanted to walk away, the Creator tell me, listen, if you fight for your son, I'm going to fight for you. And I kept on fighting for my little boy. So I couldn't file taxes. So that was all said and done. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to make the sacrifice, keep him in private school for 1 more year till he turned 10. But when he turned 10, I said, that was it. He has to go to public school. So I even made the effort to find a public school within close proximity of where she lived and where I live. So it would be easier. So either she could pick him up or I could pick him up. She got mad because she didn't like the school. So what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? I can't do anything. I can't afford it anymore. So we went to the orientation. Everything was set and done. He got accepted into school, blah, 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 blah. All right. She's getting ready to leave. All right. I said, check this out. I know it's already through the week. So I'm going to pick up Lex for the rest of the week. Okay. For you, even when it's your days, because my days are actually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I said, I'll pick him up on Thursday for you and Friday for the rest of the week. But next week, you're going to have to be on your own and do what you got to do because I got things to do myself. The woman got mad. Oh, well, it's your son. You don't want to pick him up. You chose the school, this and that. You're a deadbeat. I said, yo, it's your day. No, let me rephrase that. I used the word, I'm going to do you the favor and pick him up for the rest of the week. So she thought I shouldn't use the word favor because seeing that I'm his father, I'm obligated to pick him up. No, it's your days. Your days are your days. So if I'm picking him up on your days, it's a favor. You feel me? So that got into a big argument. All of a sudden, guess what? A week and a half later, I got papers for child support. I got to go in court. All right. Actually, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. I was talking to my son, telling him, you know what? I'm going to pursue my film career because I want to speak the truth. So I tell him, you know what? Daddy's going to go away for a little while. All right. Just to, do films and blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to go to LA. So I did that. Okay. When Lex turned 10. So I left for a little while. Okay. I spoke to her. Everything was cool. I went. So it didn't take me long, man. I went to LA. It was a little expensive in LA, so I went to Vegas. Stayed in Vegas for a little while. All of a sudden, I'm getting papers from court. I'm getting papers from court that I have to come back to New York because you're not paying child support. You know what I'm saying? And you know all this crazy stuff. So I kind of ignored it because I know I was taking care of my son and I had receipts for everything. You feel me? So anyway, the mail was coming, and when I seen that, they started getting serious and talking about, well, you're gonna go to jail. You know what I'm saying? And take your license and all type of crazy stuff if you don't come to court. I flew back to New York and came to court. Even before I went into the court, I went and I got all my receipts. Family, I'm talking about bags and bags and bags and bags of receipt. Even letters from the school stating that I was the one who took care of the son. Even a letter from the school stating that she abandoned my son when he was 7 when he school. She called and left him in the school and I had to come back. I had all that stuff. I went into court. As soon as I went into the court, the judge, a Caucasian lady, even before I actually entered, the look that she gave me, it seemed like I was her baby father. Like, okay, I'm going to get you. I got you. Okay. Family, it doesn't matter. It didn't matter what I said in that court. I showed my receipts, everything, every single thing. Guess what the lady told me? Sir, what you did for your son is a gift. What the mother do is called childcare. So basically, she's telling me everything I've done from since my son was a baby until now, it don't count as nothing. It was a gift. But what she did was childcare. So the mother said, you haven't done anything, so you owe her $10,000. And apart from the $10,000 you owe her, which is back child support, you have to give her $624 or $42 a month. Yo, I was devastated. I said, Your Honor, I showed you my receipt. I've been there. Well, hey, this is what she said. Okay, Your Honor, I can't afford almost $700 a month. Your Honor, I'm not working. I can't afford that. That's it. That's what she did. You see what I'm saying? So I told her, listen, I can't do it. Is there any way we could work something out? Because I realized what this was, the chips were against me. My back was against the wall. So she asked the judge. The judge asked her, listen, miss, he can't afford that payment. Would you like to go outside with your attorney and work it out with him? She said no. She was like, nah, if he can't do it, well, let him go to jail. And that was that. So now I'm in a position where I have to be trying to pay this woman to catch up to $10,000 and every month give her six something. Okay? I try to keep up with it, but I couldn't keep up with it. So all of a sudden, payment stopped. Boom. They took my license. Now the next thing was either you pay it or you're going to go to jail. You see? So those are the things that could turn brothers into a life of crime just because he is trying to avoid going to jail, but doing crime, and then you're still going to end up going to jail. But you know what? I said, Lex, it's okay. I kept asking the Divine Father, why? Why am I going through this? Is it because I love my son so much, or is there a deeper message in this? And I just say, you know what? It's going to be okay. I'm going to keep on pushing. I'm going to keep on fighting. And family, I kept on pushing. I kept on fighting. I try to keep up with the payments. I try to do so many things. All right. And it was just so crazy. I was stressed out. My son was stressed out every single day. Daddy, I want to come stay with you. I'd say, Lex, I can't do nothing, man. My back is against the wall. I can't do nothing. Finally, okay, with the back and forth the court, every time I'm trying to bring down the payments, then they brought it down from six something when they really see I couldn't afford it to like $200 a month. And then I still have to be doing all this, a certain amount of payment to catch up to the back payments. And then, the arrears was going up and interest and all that. Before I know it, when all this thing was done, this woman actually hijacked. Okay. This woman exploited me for $20,000. And that threw me down on my face. In 2012, okay, I became homeless. So I spoke to a friend of mine. He said, you know what, man, my apartment is small, but you could sleep on my floor. Okay, my son still used to come see me sleeping on the floor. I say, it doesn't matter what. Lex, daddy got you, man. Daddy got you. I started, getting more into my spirituality. Okay, raising my vibrations, raising my frequency. All right. And then it just so happened that I said, okay, you know what? He said that I want to come stay with you. I said, son, don't worry about it. Daddy's going to get an apartment. I don't know how I'm going to afford it, but I'm going to get it. I put up a post on Facebook, all right, that I'm looking for an apartment. That was, I think in 2011, I think, around there, 2011. No, 2012. And no, that's not how it happened. He was still by her, okay? I don't mean to jump forward. So I went and I would take him to the park every day. She would get upset. No matter what I did with my son or for my son, it would get her upset. All right. One thing you have to realize is this. When you want to get to know somebody, see the interaction they have with their family. And again, like I said, family, I'm not here to demonize my son's mother. I'm just here to tell you my experience, my story. There's a message behind all of this. Okay. I know this video is a little long, but please, I want you to go till the end. All right. So in early 2012, all right, I took my son to the park on a Thursday. It's ironic it was on a Thursday again. A Thursday the same Thursday that she got me arrested in 2001 when Lex was little. Here we go, 2012, okay, on a Thursday again. I took Lex to the park. We had fun. We worked out. We played ball. It was about 8 o'clock. I say, Lex, it's time to go home. I'm going to take you by your mom's because you already know, all right? Took him home and everything. Even before that, I had him call his mom's and let him know that we was in the park. So took him home and then I told him I love him and I left. Why at about 9 o'clock, 9:15, my son is texting me or calling. He called me, Daddy, Mommy calling me name. She's cursing me out, doing this and that. I say, Lex, do me a favor, please. Just chill. Don't answer back your mom. I want you to respect her. That's your mother. Okay? Don't just ignore her, please. All right? If anything, call me. All right? I love you. Make sure you go to bed on time. Why? About 30 minutes or 40 minutes later, my son called me crying hysterically. Daddy, Mommy took a water bottle and smashed it in my face, and now my face is bleeding. Yo, my first impulse was to go over there and avenge my son. I'm talking about physically, because it was at that point. You see, now you put your hand on my son, I got to defend him. You see? But then I took a cab, and within the cab, the spirit told me, Lex, peace be still. Peace be still. You see, out of chaos, there comes order. And I love order. I was always the positive influence in my son's life. Now, I'm not saying that my son's mother was a negative influence all the time. However, 90% of the times she was vibrating in her low frequency. So my son was around that negativity. So I always had to be that constant positivity or that positive energy in his life to bring balance, because it's all about balance. Okay. So peace be still. Okay. There's going to be order within all of this. Just relax. Okay. What you've been waiting for is about to be manifested. I'm going to show you the real reason why all this happened. Why you met your son in the, you wanted your son, you met his mother in the club. All that is going to come into fruition. Son, just be patient. That's the spirit speaking to me now. All right. So I went over there. My son came out with a bag, his clothes bag in one of the laundry bags, ready to roll. And reality hit me. Lex, you are homeless. And here comes your son with his bag. So that means your son is homeless as well. Okay? And I started bugging out. Again, the spirit said, Lex, be calm, be calm. Okay? Don't overreact. My son's face was bleeding, in 2 places. So I called the cops. The cops came, took a report, blah, 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 blah. They was like, listen, we're going to have to arrest her. It's up to you. Okay? Everything started flashing back. Everything I went through, everything she did started flashing back. It started flashing back. I said, officer, you know what? I wanted to get arrested. But even before you do, let me take my son around the corner, because I don't want him to see his mom's in handcuffs. So I took Lex around the corner, okay? And they put her in handcuffs and they take her to the precinct. That following Monday, actually, no, not Monday, the next day, which was Friday, I went to court. I filed for custody for my son. They gave me custody. Okay, they gave me custody, and then I guess she went and did a rebuttal or whatever, an affidavit to contest the custody case. And then when we went back to court, they gave me full custody, and now she had temporary custody. So now she had to see him every other weekend, but I get to keep him all the time. All right, and that was that. So that was eating her up, family. That was eating her up, because now I'm still going to court. Even if I have custody, I'm still going to court with the child support thing, trying to tell the judge, this is what's happening, blah, 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 blah. The judge don't want to hear it, and I still have to pay. And no matter what, the judge is saying, well, miss, he got the son now, but he can't afford it, so can you work something out still? No, let him go to jail. I'm like, listen, you would rather me go to jail. You see what I'm saying? And even if I have custody of our son, you see? So anyway, that was all said and done. So my son was staying with me by my friends. I say, you know what, Lex? We're going to get an apartment. So I put out a post on Facebook. As soon as I put it out, not less than 5 minutes later, a young sister hit me up and said, okay, my mom got an apartment over, not too far from where I was at. Went, I spoke to the lady, saw the apartment. I said, Lex, you like it? He said, yes, that is. Okay, you know what? It's yours. Family, when I told my son it was yours, I didn't have a dime in my pocket. I swear to you. I didn't have a dime. I didn't know where I was going to get the money. The apartment was $1,150. Okay, I had to get 1 month rent and 1 month security. So that was like about $2,300 I had to come up with. All right. 11, 20, yeah, $2,300. I didn't have a dime. Family, I say, you know what? I'm going to put it in the Most High hands. I'm just going to believe, because I know the Most High is putting me through this for a reason. All right. I told the lady, listen, give me until Thursday of next week. All right. And I'm coming to get this apartment. That's what I said. And left, went back to my friend's house, and then family, guess what? When Monday came, I had $2,400. I'm going to keep it real with you. I made a couple of calls. A few people helped me out, but I don't know where I got the rest of the money from. All right now, I'm trying to remember. I didn't do anything illegal. All I know was I had $2,400. I went and I got the apartment. I signed. I say, Lex, I know you're underage, but I want you to sign this lease. Just so you know, this is yours. Because it's all mental. I had him sign the list. Okay. And then we went. Okay. We got our apartment. And that was that. All right. Everything was cool. Still going to court back and forth, moving forward. In 2013, I've always been, okay, trying to get my son into the spiritual thing, getting him, trying to raise his vibration, all that stuff. They actually had him in therapy, in counseling. Okay, because of so much he went through, all that emotional abuse and that verbal abuse, you see, and the thing from the hitting with the battle in his face. And Up to this present day, my son had told me that his mother is trying to convince him that he was the one who took the bottle and he hit him in his face, or he took his hand and scratched his face. You see? But anyway, that's besides the point. In 2013, my son went to his grandmother's house. You see, what you need to realize, everything that's going to happen in life is going to happen. There are no coincidences. There are no mistakes. My son's grandmother lived. Now, the funny thing is, I'm very close with her grandmother. Okay, I talk to her sisters. I talk to everybody else. I get along with everybody else except her. So a lot of times when people think the world is the problem and they don't look at themselves, they don't realize that they are the problem, because they are so busy looking at the world, blaming everything else on the world, except for going within and taking some type of responsibility. Okay, I talk to your sister. I talk to your nephews. I was cool with your brother. I'm close with your mother. You're the only person I don't get along with. So what does that say? You see. So anyway, my son's grandmother called me and said, you know what, Daddy Lex, could Lex come with me, blah, 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 blah. And I'd already said, I don't want him to go in that area, you see. But she mentioned church. So when she said church, I said, okay, you know what? Church, it's a Friday evening, why not? So he left. Okay, I had to go do some editing, some editing. Actually, I had to go shoot. And then I had to edit the following morning. Yeah, so he's at his grandmother's house. He said everything is good. All right, so I'm cool with it. So I did what I had to do. Then I went home, got some rest. The next day I woke up, went to my partner's house, had to do some editing. Okay, so I had to do some editing from about 8:30 to about maybe 1:30, right? So about 10 something, I'm getting a call. I'm looking at my phone, I'm seeing it's his mother. Now she don't call me, you know what I mean? So she don't call me, I don't call her. So I'm like looking, I'm like, why is she calling me? So I wasn't gonna pick up, because for the past few weeks and months, every time she called, it's harassing me. It's about she and my son can't get along. They always cursing each other. I mean, it's just pretty much chaos over there, and I didn't want to deal with it. So I never picked up a call. But something in my spirit told me, you know what, Lex, picked up the call. So I picked up the call. First thing is like, do you know where your son is at? I'm like, he's at his grandmother's house. Well, no, he's in jail. He's arrested. I'm looking at the phone like, this got to be a prank call. I'm like, yo, what are you talking about? Well, she just got a call that my son got arrested. He's in jail. Yo, I was bugging out. So I dropped everything. All right. Dropped everything. I say, okay, you know what? I'm going to meet you by the precinct or whatever. She said, she'll come pick me up with her boyfriend, whoever. And went to the precinct, right? My son, they sat there for like a few hours, waiting. They gave me all this cockamamie story about, my son was at the bus stop, with some of his friends, and they went across the street and they robbed the Chinese guy that was delivering food. But at that time, my son had broken his arm, his right arm, and he was in a cast. And they said that, the guy said that he was one of the people with a gun in his waist. So I know right off the rip, I know that was a bunch of bullshit. All right, so when I went there, I was literally getting ready to start some hell in the precinct. Like, yo, you gotta let my son go ASAP. All right. But anyway, the sergeant came. I showed him my PBA card because, my brother, is a DT. So I showed him that information. He said, all right, boom, 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 went and got my son. He gave me a chance to talk to him, he told me exactly what happened. I said, cool. I spoke to the officer again. And then what it was, they actually had arrested him at first as a minor, right? As a minor, and they had him in Brooklyn. So the DA called back and said, arrest him. No. They arrested him as a minor and brought him to the Bronx in juvie, right? And then the DA called and said, arrest him again as an adult, a 13-year-old, all right? So they went back to the Bronx and brought him back to Brooklyn and booked him again as an adult this time. Now, the story had changed from it was just robbing to now he had a gun. So the first time it was just he was helping them rob the Chinese man. So they arrested him as a minor, and then the second time the Chinese man said he was the one with the gun. So they brought him back to Brooklyn, arrested him as an adult. So I went up in that officer's ass, man, for real. All right. So it boiled down to the officer is like, okay, you know what? Let me go check on a couple of things and blah, blah, blah. The officer came back and he said, don't worry, I'm going to try to see what I could do, etc., etc., etc. I told him I love him, left, went about my business. Okay, the next day I got a call that they had to take him back to the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? Take him back to the Bronx because they reduced the charges to a misdemeanor or whatever, you know, or where he's not going to be charged as an adult, but back as a juvie. So they took him back to the Bronx, right? So with that being said, that Saturday passed, right? And he was up there. Then Sunday, they was going to let him go because he had to go to court on Monday. So here we go. Mind you, my license is suspended because of that child support bullshit. So I borrowed my friend's car because my son was in jail for the entire weekend. It's all the way in the Bronx. Don't want to take the train, a 2.5 hour ride to come back to Brooklyn on the weekend. You know, so I say, you know what? I'm going to borrow my friend's car and, you know, go pick up my son. So my son's mother called me. She said she want to come. I say, fine. We driving, all right? You know, no conversation, just driving straight to up in the Bronx to pick up our son, right? Anyway, when he came, you know, saw him in, you know, when he first came, I had to sign some papers, you know, he was crying, all this and all that, you know, gave him a hug, you know, let him know everything is gonna be all right, daddy's here, etc., etc., etc. So driving back to Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? His mom's going to the rant, you know, about it's his fault and all this crazy stuff. And I say, okay, you know what? She mad. Let her do her ranting, right? Which I feel it wasn't the time for, but that's her thing. You know what I mean? So I left it alone. All right. That was said and done. Sunday passed. He came home, took a shower, you know, taking to get something to eat. And he rested. Monday, we had to go to court, right? The following day, we had to go to court. Mind you, right? Your son got arrested, okay? You couldn't make it to court, okay? You couldn't make it to court. I'm the one who had to go to court, which is all good. You know, it's my son. I'm going to be there for him, right? So he went to court and then they gave him another date. So they gave him another date. They gave him another date where we had to go again. But between that, his court date, I had a child support court date, all right? It's funny how she couldn't make the court date to come represent her son, but she could take the day off to come to court to make sure I got penalized by the system, right? So she came to court. All right. So the whole thing now is I have custody. So, you know, it's about me now really trying to, you know, get rid of the child support thing. So the lawyer told me the only way to really make this thing work is because whatever they say you owe her, they're not gonna cancel it. Okay, so the only thing you could do now is put her on child support. I'm like, yo, I don't want to do that, man, because I don't want to deal with that. You feel me? I just want this court thing to be over. He said, well, listen, it's the only way it's gonna work. It's the only way it's gonna work. I said, nah, all right, just leave it for now. So when I went back into the court, right, the judge was trying to work things out because at that point now the judge is trying to see her temperament and see what type of person she is. You feel what I'm saying? And she's always coming to the judge with a lot of bullshit, and the judge is seeing her tone, and the judge is asking her, miss, you got to check your tone. You feel what I'm saying? And I could see that the judge is getting irritated, but I'm saying, you know what? I'm just gonna chill. Sometimes you just gotta allow people to be them and let them actually get their own rope to put around their neck and hang the themselves. All right. So anyway, things was kind of going in my favor, you see. So I told the judge, listen, judge, you know, my license is suspended, you know, and I have my son. I got to make moves. I got to train my clients, and I got to get around. I can't get around, you know. So I would like my license back. All right. So the judge said, okay, well, if your license is suspended, even before the judge finished, this is what my son's mother said. My son's mother said, Your Honor, can I say something? The judge said, yes. Oh, well, how could his license be suspended? And over the weekend, my son got arrested and he was driving, going to the Bronx to get my son. So how could his license be suspended? The judge is like, miss, if your son got arrested and he used a car to go get his, you know, the judge said, you know what? This is not what this is about. I don't want to. So because basically you want me to you don't want me to get him in trouble because he went to use a car to go pick up his son. The judge see what type of bullshit she was on. So the judge said, you know what? I don't want to deal with that. This is not about that. Okay? It's not about that. All right? So she mad. Anyway, that was said and done, the judge gave me a paper, you feel me? And the judge said, okay, this is what you do. If you pay X and X and X amount, I will give you a paper so that you could go get your license. Anyway, it had some kind of misunderstanding where, like I said, I'm gonna keep it real. Where, there was I had gotten down the 20,000 all the way down to like about 5,000 or 6,000. Family, let me tell you something. I called people. I called my moms. I called everybody I knew to help me out. Okay, credit cards was maxed. Everything, was depleted, just so I could try to get my life back on track. It was stressful, but I say, you know what? It's okay. The divine creator keep telling me, Lex, just hang in there. I'm going to show you. I got you. All right. So, after a while, I stopped paying. So I called my son's mother. I say, listen, man, the last 3,000 or whatever it was, I would pay you that money. Let's just cancel that whole court thing. All right. So it so happened that I think she went to the court and said that I would pay her or something within that sort, right? So anyway, I wrote a check, all right, that I sent to her. Okay. Now she said that she didn't get the money. All right. And again, I'm gonna keep it real. The fact of the matter is, I didn't put the money in the bank because I was out of town. So I came back to New York. And then I told her, I actually went with cash. I went with cash to her house and tell her, hey, okay, I got $2,something hundred. I know it's 3,000 whatever, but I got $2,something hundred. Just take that. You know what I'm saying? She was like, oh, no. I want to deal with the courts. I want to deal with the court. I'm like, yo, I'm giving you $2,something hundred. Just take that and let's just call it even, or I'll give you the rest of the money when I can. Oh, no, I want to deal with the courts because the courts is going to give me my receipt. I say, you know what, man, listen, forget this shit. So I just kept my damn money. I kept my money. All right. So, but she had already went to the child support place with me and signed an agreement and told them that, you know what, me and her would work it out. So then I could get my license back, because she actually went and, for that to happen. Like I said, she could be a sweet person when she want to. You see what I'm saying? But trust me, when she decides to be evil, she's evil. You feel what I'm saying? So she did that, and it so happened that, like I said, when I went to her house and did that, she didn't want to take the money. So I said, you know what, I ain't giving you no damn money. So she went back to the court talking about, oh, I tricked them. I said, no, I ain't trick you. I came to your house. I gave you the money. You didn't want it. You know what I'm saying? You didn't want it. So I was like, Your Honor, I paid her. I gave her money. It's as simple as that. So the judge said, you know what? Well, miss, it's your fault. That you went there and did this and you signed the paper and this and that, blah, 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 whatever. That was said and done. Anyway, so anyway, the judge said that, you know what? I still had to pay her. That's what it boiled down to. Okay. Because she in court crying. All right. I say, cool. So my lawyer, they gave me a lawyer that represented me. He pulled me to the side. He said, okay, like I told you before, the only way you could make this thing go away or let it break even is to put her on child support. All right. So I meditated on it a little bit because I didn't want to do it. All right. Because at first I was going to do it, but then I was going to do it because to be vindictive. I was going to do it to prove a point. You see, whatever, whenever you try to do something evil to people, it always come back on you. So I was going to do it to prove that point. To say, you see, you put me in child support, you put me through all this shit, and everything is falling back on you. And look what's happening now. So I say, you know what? I'll be doing it for the wrong reason. So I didn't do it. I left it alone. They sent me another paper. They said, listen, you have 60 days. In fact, you have 30 days to put her on child support. If you don't, then we're gonna dismiss that case. I said, it's all right. I'm not gonna do it. The 30 days passed. I didn't put her on child support. I left it alone. But she didn't know I was doing that. So I didn't tell her, well, that happened. I just left it alone. I said, you know what? I'm going to do that because that's what I want to do. All right. But then every time I go to court, this woman is trying to get me in trouble. So I said, you know what, man, listen, just put her on child support, man. So they put her on child support. That even infuriated her even more. So now, you see, she couldn't pass her anger on me. So now that anger was always at my son. So every other weekend she has her visitations, she and my son is into some argument. They're into some fight. Some shit is always happening. And I keep telling my son, Lex, just stay away for a minute. You need some time to heal, my son. You need some time to heal. You have been through a lot. You was going to therapy. You stopped. Just take a break, man. You could love your mother, but love her from a distance. You need a break from that negativity. He still want to go over there, and every time they go over there, it's fighting, it's arguments, it's this, it's that. I left that alone. Anyway, 4 or 5 years, I'm talking about 4 or 5 years past, all right, where I had full custody of my son and she had temporary custody, and she's mad. She want to go back to court and file for full custody, because her whole thing is about winning and losing. It's not about the best interest of our son. It's about, what? He's winning. I got to beat him. I got to kill that nigga. I got to make sure that nigga lose. It's always about that. You see what I'm saying? Always trying to prove to the world that I'm a deadbeat dad. You see? But what I've always done is I had nothing to prove to her. I had it to prove to myself and my son. You see? And that's what I've always done. Showed him love. In spite of whatever she showed him, my thing was always to show him love and let him know that your dad was always going to be there. You feel me? So anyway, we back and forth in court. She trying to get custody. Well, say, listen, you can't get full custody because the father is the one that have been there, okay, for the past 4 or 5 years. So that's his home now. So, it's always, every time she go for full custody, no, they're not giving it to her. So, but they started giving her more time. So now instead of every other weekend, it's every weekend. She kept going, fighting. Her thing is, I want to win. So it got to a point where I had a sit down with my son. I said, Lex, check this out, man. I see, you don't want to help yourself. All right. And I see you like to be in that position where you are being abused verbally, physically, all that. And you just want to be there. The woman literally, she tells him, I don't want you in my house. Leave my house. Why don't you go live with your father? I mean, it's always a constant, you don't belong here and I don't want you here. But he still want to be over there. And you know what? I get it. Because every time he tried to stay away, then she hit him with the guilt trip. Oh, I'm the one who made you. I'm the one who pushed you out, but you don't love me. I see you love your father and this and this and that. So that guilt trip, you see what I'm saying? She's always playing that on him. So I say, listen, man, you know what? I'm just going to go to the court because I don't want to deal with this court shit no more. It's draining me. So I'm going to give her temporary custody because she can't get full custody. I'm not going to give it to her. All right. So I'm going to take out the child support. She was paying me child support for about 1.5 years, almost 2 years, I think. So I'm going to take off the child support. That's a decision I made. I just want to get this thing over with because I don't have that negative energy in me. You feel me? So I took out the child support. I made a deal with her lawyer. What I said, I'm going to take out the child support and I'm going to give her joint custody. So I gave her joint custody. All right. So now, she got what she wanted. So now, as soon as she got what she wanted, here she go again with my son, always arguing, always fighting, calling him names, and I'm like, you doing all this thing to show that you're the concerned mom so you could get what you want in court. But now that everything is over with, you go back to being your always again. Mind you, during all this time, me and her mother, we still cool. Okay. Her sister's son is always coming to my house to spend time with my son. So I'm trying to show you that, see where the problem is. You feel me? So with that being said and done, right? Everything is, again, chaos. When my son was here, during that time, I skipped the beat. During that time when she had her visitations, she would come. Now, mind you, this woman went and took a restraining order against me without me knowing, talking about I threatened her life. I don't even talk to the woman. I don't see the woman, nothing of that sort, right? One day, because I said I skipped the beat. One day, it was my son's birthday, right? And we were supposed to go to court. My son said, Daddy, I'm going to go to court and really tell him what's happening, right? Because, again, I was just tired with the verbal abuse that he was going through. And every time they get into something, come get your son, come take him. When he leave, you hit him with, oh, you don't love me. And with that guilt trip, and he have to come back because he feel guilty, you see? So he was going to go to court. So that Monday, he was supposed to go by his mom's house, which was his birthday. So I called, I got up. He didn't pick up. So I went over there. Now, I didn't know this woman had a restraining order against me that she took out. So I didn't ring her door. I knocked my son's window. It's right on the corner. I said, Lex, we got to go. So she's preventing him from going outside. Okay. I said, Lex, you know what, man? I'm tired of this. Okay. You keep choosing the side of, that negative energy. All right. So I'm just going to go to court and just say, I'm done. I'm done. All right. I'm done. So anyway, I left. This is what this woman did. Like I said, family, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't knock on this woman's door. I knocked on my son's window. All right. And the only person I spoke to was my son. I didn't see the woman. I didn't speak to the woman. The woman went to court. Okay. The woman came to court, got up, rushed, went to court and told the court people. Now I'm finding this out, telling the court people, well, even before I found that out, I'm here sitting waiting for the judge to call my name, right? I was trying to text my son still because I wanted him to come down. So I couldn't get service. So I went all the way to the window, all the way to the window. I would say at least 50, about 40 to 50 feet. When I looked up, she walked in and she sat down. Okay. I didn't even know if she saw me because I was really far away from the woman.